the silence dark, whispers in the midnight park. The night is cold, there's no escape. Ghostly figures take their shape.
Welcome back to Real Talk Horror Edition, the podcast where we unravel the mysteries, delve into the depths, and shine a light on the darkest corners of horror cinema. I'm your host Josh, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we continue our exploration of psychological horror with Part 1, Mind Games and Madness, a series dedicated to films that distort reality, challenge our perceptions, and take us on a journey through the complexities of the human mind. In this series, we have already dived into masterpieces like The Shining, which blindsided us with the madness of Jack Torrance, and Black Swan, a haunting portrayal of obsession and identity. These films have one thing in common: they blur the line between sanity and madness, leaving us questioning what's real. And today's film is no exception. Today we're focusing on still part 1 of the series, film number 6 out of 7, Donnie Darko. Released in 2001, this surreal and deeply unsettling film was both written and directed by Richard Kelly. While it initially flew under the radar during its theatrical release, it has since received cult classic status, revered for its intricate narrative, haunting visuals, and emotional depth. So what is it about Donnie Darko that has captivated audiences for over 2 decades? It's not just a psychological horror film. It's a complex exploration of time, fate, and existential dread. It's the kind of movie that doesn't just tell you a story, it makes you feel as though you're piecing together a puzzle, one cryptic clue at a time. For those who are unfamiliar, here's a spoiler-free glimpse. The film centers around Donnie, a troubled teenager brilliantly portrayed by Jake Gyllenhaal. After narrowly escaping death in a freak accident, Donnie begins experiencing unsettling visions, including visits from a grotesque, rabbit-suited figure named Frank. As Frank reveals cryptic messages about the nature of reality, Donnie finds himself grappling with questions of time travel, destiny, and his own sanity. I still remember my first viewing of Donnie Darko. From the opening sequence to the hauntingly ambiguous ending, I was hooked. The eerie tone, the thought-provoking themes, and that unforgettable performance made it clear that this was no ordinary film. This is a story that leaves with you and has you with more questions than answers, and that really makes it special. So grab your popcorn and a notepad, because you're going to want to unpack this one with me. Let's step into the strange, surreal, and unsettling world of Donnie Darko. Before we go, we did cover this film also on our regular channel, just Real Talk, as part of our Cult Classics deep dive. If you're interested, go check that one out as well. In Donnie Darko, themes of mental instability, fractured perceptions, and existential dread converge to create a psychological horror experience that sticks in your mind after the lights have come back on. Let's unpack some of these key elements that define the film's chilling and enigmatic narrative. At its core, Donnie Darko masterfully dives into the disorienting interplay between mental instability and the manipulation of perceived reality. This crazy, wild rabbit figure of Frank, the grotesque harbinger of doom, drives much of the psychological tension. Frank's cryptic instructions to Donnie blur the line between guidance and manipulation. Is Frank a manifestation of Donnie's fragile mental state? Or is he genuinely orchestrating a supernatural mission tied to time travel and alternate realities? This ambiguity is central to the film's brilliance, drawing us into Donnie's paranoia. It's not just Donnie who questions his grip on reality. We are left wondering whether to trust what we see on screen or if we're being led astray by Donnie's unreliable perspective. This dynamic creates a profound sense of unease as the film continually shifts our footing, forcing us to navigate a web of uncertainty and dread. Few films navigate the blurry boundary between the real and the imagined as effectively as Donnie Darko. The story unfolds in a seemingly mundane suburban setting, juxtaposed with surreal, otherworldly elements. This stark contrast amplifies the psychological tension, pulling us into Donnie's fractured worldview. The film thrives on disorientation. One moment, Donnie is navigating high school and awkward family dinners. The next, he's confronting cryptic visions of Frank or unraveling the mechanics of time travel. This oscillation mirrors Danny's unstable mental state, creating an experience where we feel just as untethered as Donnie. It's this balance between the relatable and the surreal that sets Donnie Darko apart. It forces us to question not just Donnie's reality, but the nature of reality itself. Is what we're witnessing an elaborate delusion, or is it a profound truth wrapped in layers of mystery? Donnie Darko himself is a fascinatingly complex character. Jake Gyllenhaal's portrayal of Donnie is a revelation. He brings an intensity and vulnerability that make the character both relatable and deeply unsettling. Donnie is an outsider, grappling with feelings of alienation and sense of being other. His sharp intellect clashes with his bouts of impulsivity and paranoia, creating a character that's both sympathetic and unpredictable. Donnie's relationships serve as emotional anchors amidst the chaos. His bond with his family is fraught yet deeply human, particularly his dynamic with his sister Elizabeth, played by his real-life sister Maggie Gyllenhaal. His sessions with his therapist offer a glimpse into his inner turmoil, revealing his fears, frustrations, and yearning for clarity. And then there's Gretchen, Donnie's love interest. Their connection provides a rare sense of warmth and normalcy in an otherwise disorienting narrative. Gretchen becomes a grounding force for Donnie, even as the events around them spiral into chaos. Yet, as Donnie's mental state deteriorates and the stakes escalate, these relationships are inevitably tested, adding emotional weight to the story. Few things are as terrifying as the unexplained, and Donnie Darko capitalizes on this fear with precision. The film is steeped in a sense of foreboding, an impending doom that's both cosmic and deeply personal. Frank's eerie presence is a constant reminder of this looming apocalypse. His grotesque appearance, cryptic messages, and unsettling demeanor tap into primal fears of the unknown. Add to this the mind-bending concepts of time travel, parallel universes, and predestination, and the film creates a suffocating atmosphere where nothing feels certain or safe. But it's not just the grand existential fears that the film explores. It's also the quiet, intimate fears. The fear of being misunderstood, of losing control, of facing one's own mind. These are fears that ground the film's psychological horror, making it as emotionally resonant as it is intellectually challenging. Through its exploration of mind games, blurred realities, complex characters, and primal fears, Donnie Darko becomes more than just a psychological horror film. It's a meditation on the fragility of the human psyche and the mysteries of existence. This is a film that doesn't just ask questions, but compels us to wrestle with them long after we finished watching. The atmosphere and tone of Donnie Darko are among its most compelling features, creating an immersive, otherworldly experience that draws us into its unsettling world. From its cinematography to its sound design, every element works in harmony to evoke a sense of disorientation, dread, and melancholy. Let's break down the key components that make this film's atmosphere so memorable. Director of photography Stephen Poster shapes Donnie Darko into a visual masterpiece, blending haunting surrealism with grounded realism. The film's use of slow-motion sequences is particularly striking. These moments feel almost hypnotic, pulling us into the dreamlike state where time itself seems to bend and stretch, mirroring the narrative's central themes of time travel and predestination. Lighting also plays a crucial role in building the film's atmosphere. Scenes are often bathed in soft, ethereal light or steeped in shadow, reflecting Donnie's internal struggle between clarity and confusion. This contrast heightens the psychological tension, keeping us on edge as they navigate the film's twists and turns. The visual motifs of spirals and circular patterns recurs throughout the film, subtly reinforcing this idea of time loops and the inevitability of fate. Whether it's the swirling clouds of a manipulated sky, or the motion of liquid spears emanating from characters representing their paths through time, these images remind us that we're caught in a cosmic puzzle just as much as Donnie is. The film's sound design is top-notch mood setting, from the faint hums of Frank's eerie voice to the unsettling ambient noises that permeate Donnie's visions. Every sound enhances the feeling of otherworldly unease. And then there's the music. The soundtrack of Donnie Darko is iconic, perfectly blending nostalgic tones of the late 80s with a deeply emotional undercurrent. Tracks like Tears for Fears' Head Over Heels ground the film in its period setting, while also amplifying its melancholy and introspective tone. The standout, of course, is Gary Jules' haunting rendition of the other Tears for Fears classic, Mad World, used during the film's emotional climax. This song captures the essence of Donnie's journey, a sense of isolation, existential questioning, and bittersweet resolution. The melancholy synths and reflective lyrics leave a lasting impression, making the film's final moments unforgettable. The film's setting, a quiet suburban town in the late 80s, acts as an effective backdrop for the story's dark, surreal elements. At first glance, the suburban world feels idyllic, almost mundane, but as the narrative unfolds, the veneer of normalcy cracks, revealing a town riddled with secrets, suppressed emotions, and that existential dread. This contrast between the ordinary and the extraordinary heightens the psychological horror. The familiar streets, homes, and high school settings become stages for unsettling events. From Donnie's interactions with Frank to the inexplicable cosmic phenomenon that dominate this story, it's a chilling reminder that horror doesn't always reside in far-off, unfamiliar places. It can infiltrate the most seemingly normal environments. Additionally, the time period itself plays a subtle but significant role. The late 1980s were a time of cultural transition, and the film captures this uncertainty. From the conservative values of Donnie's parents' generation to the existential musings of Donnie and his peers, the setting underscores the film's exploration of generational divides and the fear of a rapidly changing world. Through its meticulously crafted visuals, haunting soundscape, and evocative setting, Donnie Darko establishes an atmosphere that is as immersive as it is unsettling. It's a film that'll draw you in with its eerie beauty and leave you grappling with its profound questions long after the final note of Mad World fades away. The characters of Donnie Darko are the lifeblood of its narrative, each contributing to the film's exploration of identity, mental health, and existential questions. The protagonist, his antagonist, and the supporting cast are carefully crafted to reflect the movie's surreal and emotionally charged themes. Let's dive deeper into their roles and impact. Donnie is a deeply complex and layered character, a young man grappling with mental health challenges while trying to make sense of a world that seems increasingly unstable. Jake Gyllenhaal delivers a career-defining performance, capturing the multifaceted nature of Donnie's personality. His vulnerability is evident in his therapy sessions and his tender moments with Gretchen. But there's also a streak of defiance and cynicism that comes through in his interactions with authority figures, like his parents, teachers, and even Frank. Donnie's struggle with visions of Frank, the grotesque figure in the rabbit costume, reflects his deteriorating grip on reality. These hallucinations raise questions about his mental state. Is he schizophrenic, or is he truly trapped in a higher cosmic truth? This ambiguity is key to the film's power. As viewers, we are drawn into Donnie's fractured perspective and left to interpret the narrative's many layers. Despite his instability, Donnie is profoundly relatable. He's a teenager, confronting existential questions about free will, fate, and the meaning of life. His journey resonates with anyone who has ever felt out of place or overwhelmed by the weight of their own thoughts. Frank, brought to life by James Duval, is one of the most enigmatic and unsettling figures in psychological horror. As a harbinger of doom, he guides Donnie through cryptic messages and visions, pushing him towards actions that seem both significant and morally ambiguous. The brilliance of Frank's character lies in his duality. On one hand, he functions as an antagonist, driving Donnie into increasingly dangerous and erratic behavior. His grotesque rabbit costume and eerily calm demeanor are nightmarish, embodying Donnie's fears and his breakdown of his reality. On the other hand, Frank is not a traditional villain. He's more of a catalyst, a figure who forces Donnie to confront the deeper truths of his existence. Frank's messages and guidance ultimately lead Donnie to his fateful decisions, and in doing so, he becomes an agent of transformation rather than destruction. It's this duality that makes Frank one of the film's most fascinating characters, as we are left to question his true purpose and nature. And the supporting cast of Donnie Darko provides a vital emotional and thematic counterbalance to the film's darker elements, grounding the narrative in human relationships and everyday struggles. First, Gretchen Ross, played by the great Jenna Malone, as Donnie's love interest. Gretchen is a source of light and hope in this chaotic world. Her own tragic past mirrors Donnie's struggles, creating a poignant connection between them. Their relationship is tender and authentic, offering moments of levity and vulnerability that contrast with the film's surreal tension. Gretchen represents an anchor for Donnie, a reason to care, to fight, and ultimately to sacrifice. And then there's Karen Pomeroy, played by Drew Barrymore. Donnie's English teacher serves as a mentor figure, introducing him to philosophical concepts that shape his worldview. Her lessons on literature and existentialism provide the intellectual backdrop for Donnie's journey, and her rebellious attitude toward the rigid school system echoes Donnie's own defiance. Dr. Thurman, played by Catherine Ross, Donnie's therapist, is another key figure in understanding his psyche. Through her sessions, we gain insight into Donnie's fears, desires, and inner turmoil. She provides a sense of stability in his life, even as she struggles to untangle the mysteries of his condition. And then there's the whole Darko family. Donnie's interactions with his parents and siblings showcase the strained dynamics of a family trying to cope with his mental health challenges. These moments of domestic life add depth to Donnie's character and highlight the ripple effects of his struggles on those around him. The characters of Donnie Darko are intricately woven into the fabric of the story, each serving as a reflection of Donnie's internal and external battles. From Donnie's tortured psyche to the enigmatic Frank and the grounding influence of the entire supporting cast, the film's characters elevate it from a psychological thriller to a deeply human and existential exploration. Through their struggles, connections, and transformations, we are reminded that even in the face of chaos, relationships and choices define who we are. Donnie Darko is a film rich with symbolism and subtext, weaving visual motifs and thematic layers that will linger with you. Its use of metaphor, psychological depth, and social critique elevate it from a surreal thriller to a profound exploration of human existence. Let's unpack some of these elements. The film's visual motifs serve as more than striking imagery. They're integral to the thematic resonance. First, the falling jet engine is a recurring symbol of chaos and inevitability. It acts as a harbinger of the catastrophic events to come, emphasizing the fragility of life and the random nature of tragedy. The engine's unexplained origins mirror Donnie's own search for meaning in a seemingly indifferent universe. Then there's spirals and time loops. The motif of spirals, often subtly integrated into the cinematography, represents the non-linear progression of time and the concept of predestination. These visual cues reinforce the film's exploration of time travel and the cyclical nature of Donnie's journey. And then there's Frank's mask. The grotesque rabbit mask is one of the film's most iconic symbols. It embodies the unsettling intersection of the familiar and the surreal, and its unsettling design reflects Donnie's distorted perception of reality. The mask also serves as a reminder of Donnie's impending fate, adding an eerie layer to Frank's cryptic guidance. On a deeper level, Donnie Darko can be read as an allegory for the struggles of adolescence, mental illness, and existential dread. First, adolescence is chaos. Donnie's experiences, his alienation, rebellion, and questioning of authority mirror the turbulence of teenage life. His journey can be seen as a metaphor for the transition from adolescence to adulthood, a time when the world feels both limitless and overwhelmingly uncertain. And then mental illness. Donnie's visions and erratic behavior align with symptoms of schizophrenia or other mental health conditions. These elements blur the line between psychological distress and supernatural intervention, creating a narrative that resonates with anyone who has faced or witnessed the challenges of mental illness. And then there's existential angst. At its heart, the film grapples with humanity's search for purpose in a vast, indifferent cosmos. Donnie's journey to uncover his role in the grander scheme reflects the universal struggle to find meaning in the face of mortality and uncertainty. Beyond its surreal narrative, Donnie Darko offers sharp critiques of societal norms and expectations. Set in a seemingly idyllic 1980s suburban town, the film contrasts its setting with dark, surreal events of the story. The juxtaposition highlights the emptiness and repression often lurking beneath the surface of suburban life. Donnie's defiance of these norms underscore his role as an outsider, challenging the status quo. And the film examines the pressures placed on individuals to conform, succeed, and suppress their true selves. Donnie's clash with authority figures, teachers, therapists, and even his family illustrate the tension between individuality and societal control. And by portraying Donnie's struggles with authenticity and empathy, the film critiques the stigmatization of mental illness. It raises questions about how society addresses, or fails to address, the needs of those grappling with psychological challenges. The symbolism and subtext of Donnie Darko are central to its enduring appeal, from its haunting visual metaphors to its exploration of psychological and societal themes. The film invites us to look beyond the surface and engage with its deeper meanings. Whether interpreted as a story of adolescence, a critique of conformity, or a meditation on fate and free will, Donnie Darko offers a richly layered narrative that captivates and challenges us. The pacing and plot structure of Donnie Darko are masterfully designed. They weave together the tension, mystery, and emotional depth. The film's unique rhythm and layered storytelling create an immersive experience that keeps us engaged from start to finish. So let's take a closer look at how the pacing, twists, and conclusion contribute to the film's psychological impact. Donnie Darko balances slow, deliberate pacing with moments of sudden, chaotic intensity. The film takes its time establishing Donnie's world, his family dynamics, his mental struggles, and his encounters with Frank. This slow approach allows tension to build organically, drawing us deeper into his unraveling psyche. The scenes linger just long enough to let the unease settle, creating an atmosphere that's both intimate and unsettling. As the plot progresses, the pacing quickens, mirroring Donnie's spiraling mental state and the mounting urgency of his mission. The shift from quiet introspection to frenetic action mirrors the duality of the film's narrative, oscillating between the ordinary and the extraordinary. This dynamic rhythm keeps us on edge, never quite sure what to expect next. One of the most compelling aspects of Donnie Darko is how it reveals its story in layers, with twists that are subtle yet deeply impactful. The film introduces elements like time travel, alternate realities, and Frank's cryptic guidance, gradually allowing us to piece together the puzzle alongside Donnie. Each revelation feels earned and adds to the film's sense of mystery without overwhelming us. Unlike many films that rely on overt plot twists to shock us, Donnie Darko thrives on ambiguity. The narrative invites interpretation, leaving the space for us to question whether the events are supernatural, psychological, or some combination of both. The emotional stakes are heightened by unexpected developments, such as Donnie's relationship with Gretchen and the tragic consequences of his choices. These moments ground the film's abstract concepts in raw human emotion, making the twists feel personal and profound. The conclusion is a defining moment, cementing its status as a psychological horror classic. The ending is deeply poignant as Donnie sacrifices himself to restore order and prevent the tragic events that unfolded throughout the film. This act of selflessness underscores the film's exploration of fate, free will, and the cost of personal redemption. The conclusion raises as many questions as it answers. Is Donnie's sacrifice an act of heroism, a delusion, or something else entirely? The open-ended nature of the ending encourages endless analysis, making it a hallmark of psychological horror. And rather than neatly tying up the narrative threads, the film leaves us with a sense of unease and wonder. This unresolved tension is one of its greatest strengths, ensuring that the story stays with us. So it's the pacing and plot structure of Donnie Darko that are key to its enduring appeal. By blending that slow suspense with moments of chaos, introducing twists that deepen the narrative without feeling contrived, and delivering an enigmatic, emotionally charged ending, the film creates an experience that is as thought-provoking as it is haunting. Whether you view it as a tale of mental instability, a supernatural odyssey, or an exploration of existential themes, the structure of Donnie Darko ensures that it captivates and challenges its audiences from beginning to end. Donnie Darko may have had a modest beginning, but its influence on psychological horror and broader cinema has grown exponentially over the years. From shaping genre conventions to earning a devoted fan base, the film's impact and legacy are undeniable. Let's explore how Donnie Darko transcended its initial reception to become a defining work of its kind. While Donnie Darko is often categorized as psychological horror, it defies easy classification by blending elements of science fiction, drama, and existentialism. Its unique approach has had a lasting effect on filmmakers and storytellers. The film's ability to seamlessly weave surrealism with emotional depth has inspired a wave of genre-bending works. Movies like It Follows, Black Swan, and Under the Skin owe a debt to Donnie Darko's daring narrative structure and atmospheric complexity. By centering its story around Donnie's mental instability, the film paved the way for more nuanced portrayals of mental health struggles in horror, such as in Hereditary or The Babadook. Few films have tackled time travel with the same emotional resonance and philosophical weight, making Donnie Darko a blueprint for stories that seek to explore the human condition through speculative frameworks. When Donnie Darko first debuted in 2001, it faced a lukewarm reception from critics and audiences alike. Its complex narrative and unconventional tone made it difficult to market, and its theatrical release coincided with a time when audiences were less receptive to introspective, offbeat films. Early reviews range from praise for its ambition to criticism of its perceived pretentiousness and lack of clarity. The film was seen as a bold but uneven experiment, appreciated by some but dismissed by others. Donnie Darko found its audience after its theatrical run, gaining traction through DVD sales and word of mouth. The accessibility of home viewing allowed audiences to re-watch the film and unpack its layers, transforming it from an overlooked release to a cultural phenomenon. In hindsight, Donnie Darko is now celebrated for the very qualities that initially alienated viewers: its ambition, originality, and willingness to challenge traditional storytelling norms. Over the years, Donnie Darko has solidified its place as a cult classic, resonating deeply with fans who connect with its themes and aesthetic. The film's dark tone, surreal visuals, and moody soundtrack have made it a touchstone for audiences drawn to cerebral and countercultural cinema. It has become emblematic of a generation seeking art that challenges rather than conforms. The film's layered narrative invites endless analysis and discussion, fostering an active community of fans who debate its meaning and significance. This has helped Donnie Darko remain relevant in an ever-evolving media landscape. For many, Donnie Darko is a rite of passage, a film that resonates during adolescence and continues to reveal new insights upon repeated viewings in adulthood. Its exploration of existential dread, free will, and fate ensures that it stays fresh for new audiences. The impact and legacy of Donnie Darko extend far beyond its initial reception. It has reshaped psychological horror, introduced bold storytelling techniques, and earned a devoted cult following. By daring to be different, Donnie Darko has carved out a permanent space in the cinematic landscape, proving that films take risks, often stand the test of time. So whether you view it as a masterpiece or an enigma, its influence is undeniable, and its resonance continues to grow with each passing year. Donnie Darko is more than just a film. It's an experience. It masterfully blends psychological horror, science fiction, and existential drama, resulting in a haunting exploration of themes like time, identity, and fate. Its ability to provoke thought and evoke emotion makes it a standout in both cinema as a whole and specifically psychological horror. The film excels at immersing us in its enigmatic world, delivering a story that is as challenging as it is rewarding. From its layered symbolism to its impactful performances, Donnie Darko is a journey that continues to stick with you. Now into strengths and weaknesses. One of Donnie Darko's greatest strengths is its atmosphere. The haunting cinematography, moody soundtrack, and surreal visuals create an immersive world that's both familiar and otherworldly. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance as Donnie is another highlight as he captures the nuances of a troubled teenager grappling with forces beyond his understanding. The film's thematic depth is also a major strength. It doesn't spoon-feed answers, but instead invites us to interpret its meaning for ourselves, tackling existential questions about free will, predestination, and how fragile reality is. However, this complexity can also be a weakness. The intricate narrative, non-linear storytelling, and philosophical undertones may alienate viewers who prefer more straightforward storytelling. Additionally, the film's pacing, while deliberate and effective for some, can feel slow or disjointed to others. Personally, I give Donnie Darko an 8 out of 10. It earns high marks for its innovative storytelling, emotional resonance, and ability to challenge us. While its complexity might not appeal to everyone, its ambition and artistry are undeniable. This is a film that not only entertains, but also stimulates deeper thought and conversation, making it a must-watch for fans of cerebral cinema. So if you're someone who enjoys movies that challenge your perceptions and stick with you, Donnie Darko is a must-see. It's a perfect choice for fans of thought-provoking, psychological horror, surrealism, and films that require multiple viewings to fully appreciate. Whether you're watching for the first time or revisiting it with fresh eyes, Donnie Darko offers an experience that feels unique, personal, and profoundly moving. Thank you for tuning in to Real Talk Horror Edition. I hope you enjoyed today's dive into Donnie Darko. And if this episode resonated with you in any way, please consider subscribing to the podcast, leaving a like and a review, and sharing your thoughts with us on social media. We are on Instagram and Threads at RealRealTalk, or if you just want to say hey, email me at therealrealtalk@gmail.com. And next time, we'll be unraveling the psychological horrors of a truly underrated film, Session 9. This film dives into those themes of madness and manipulation, and I hope to see you there because it's going to be fun. Until then, stay curious, stay analytical, and remember, sometimes the scariest things lie not in the shadows, but within our own minds. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next time.
Creeping through the silence dark, whispers in the midnight park. The night is cold, there's no escape. Ghostly figures take their shape. Others play a twisted game. Fear and terror stake their claim. Footsteps follow close behind. Haunting thoughts invade your mind. Run away, but they won't go. In the darkness, fear will grow. Midnight shadows come to play. In your dreams, they'll always stay. Windows rattle, doors they creak. Ghostly whispers start to speak. Every corner hides a fear. Close your eyes, they're drawing near. Candles flicker, spirits call. In the night they'll take it all. Midnight strikes, the clocks rewind. Nightmares now are intertwined. Run away, but they won't go. In the darkness, fear will grow. Midnight shadows come to play. In your dreams, they'll always stay.